Hi everyone. Now we are going to discuss a topic called food safety. In the food safety topic, we are going to discuss about the little bit of introduction regarding the food safety, then the different types of food safety issues or hazards, then we'll go with the food safety systems in three different videos. Okay, let's begin. So, this food safety is going to be an important global issue with international trade and public health implications. Governments all over the world are intensifying their efforts to improve this food safety. Now, what is a food safety? The food safety is going to refer to the conditions and practices that preserve the quality of food to prevent the contamination and foodborne illness. So, this food safety is mainly including the quality and safety throughout the whole food chain. That means from the preparation to the consumption stage. So all the stages have to have this maintenance of the quality as well as the safety throughout the food chain. Now the quality of the food not to cause the harm to the consumer. So that's the main purpose of this quality. And the process of this food safety includes a number of routines that should be followed is proper handling, proper preparation, and the proper storage. So by these all aspects, we can prevent the foodborne illness. According to the Codex Alimentarius Commission, that is simply CAC Commission, food safety is the assurance that food will not cause harm to the consumer when it is prepared and or eaten according to its intended use. That means the food safety can be simply defined as the practical certainty that injury or damage will not result from the food consumed in a reasonable manner. So we have to remember the food safety definition. Then what are the steps to be food having the food safe? So there are mainly four steps. The first step is going to be the cleaning. The second one is going to be the separation, and then cook and the chill. So let's see all these four steps individually. The first one, cleaning. So we are supposed to wash our hands and the surfaces often that are going to be present in the kitchen and or the processing of the food. And why we have to have the washing of hands and the surfaces oftenly, because the bacteria can spread throughout the kitchen and get onto the hands, cutting boards, utensils, countertops, and foods. So that is the reason why the cleaning step is very important in maintenance of food safety. Then the second one is going to be separate. So what do you mean by separate? So there should be a separation of the vegetarian as well as the non-vegetarian foods. That means we should not have the mixing of these foods. So where there may be a chance of having the cross contamination. So for this reason, we have to separate the items. So separate raw meats from other foods where the cross contamination can occur when bacteria spread from one product to the another. And this is going to be especially common when handling the raw meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs. So this is all about the second step. Then what is the third step? So the third step is going to be the cooking process. So we have to cook whatever the thing that we are going to cook at the right temperatures. And food is going to be safely cooked when it reaches a high temperature or high enough internal temperature to kill the harmful bacteria that is going to cause the illness. So how do we know what is the particular temperature for the particular type of food cooking? So that we have to refer to the safe cooking temperatures chart for the proper internal temperatures. Then the fourth one is going to be the refrigeration or chilling. So this refrigerate foods quickly because cold temperatures lower the growth of the harmful bacteria, and at the same time we should not overstuff the refrigerator. Okay, so why should not we do that one? Means this cold air must have to circulate to help keep food safe. And we have to keep a constant refrigerator temperature of about 40 degrees or below is one of the most effective way to reduce the risk of these foodborne illnesses. So we are having the 4 steps of food safety. The first one is going to be of having the cleaning process, then separation, then cooking, and the chilling. Then moving to the factors that contribute to foodborne diseases are going to be of like this. Foodborne illnesses are going to be of from unsafe sources is going to be of 12%. Then improper storage is going to release resulting of 63% of food damage or foodborne disease. Then personal hygiene is about of 28%, it is going to contribute. Then contaminated equipment is 23, inadequate cooking is 21, other things is 20%. So altogether this is going to be of 100% because of overlapping. So this much of the individual factor is going to contribute to foodborne diseases. So here are the list of some pathogens which are going to have the characteristic growth at the particular temperature or for their growth. So here you can see the pathogens like Bacillus cereus requires the 41 to 118 Fahrenheit. Okay, and the pH range is going to be this much, and this is going to be of activity. So like this, we are having a list here. You can go through it. Campylobacter jejunum, Clostridium botulinum, Clostridium perfringens. So this is going to be of nearly in the high temperatures from 37.9 to 11, that is 114.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Then E. coli, Listeria monocytogenes, Salmonella, Staphylococcus aureus, and Yersinia enterocolitica. So here the Clostridium botulinum, then listeriosis caused by Listeria monocytogenes, and the Yersinia enterocolitica are going to have the normal temperature. That means in the normal temperature growth, they can even grow very profusely and cause the food poison. So then what are the major factors that affect the food safety? So the factors involved in the potential threat caused by foods are inappropriate agricultural practices, then poor hygiene at any stage of the food chain. So during the process, at any stage, it can have, if you are maintaining the poor hygiene, obviously that results or affect the food safety. So lack of preventive controls during processing and preservation of the food, incorrect use of chemical materials, contaminated raw materials, food and water, and inappropriate storage are going to be the major factors involved in the foods which are having a very negative impact on the food safety. And the factors that affect food safety are going to be categorized into 3 categories. That is going to be of food hygiene, then personal hygiene of food handlers, and kitchen sanitation. So let's see the food hygiene. So infections caused by microorganisms are largely the result of poor hygiene of the person responsible for preparing the food. So the one who cooks the food or prepares the food should have maintaining the hygiene very well. These microorganisms can rapidly reproduce in temperatures outside the safe ranges specified by food safety regulations. This is one thing. Then personal hygiene of food handlers. So this here the food have to be of a very hygiene, and the person handling the food as well as the preparing the food have to maintain the hygienic conditions. So here the person hygiene of food handlers. The food processing stage is one of the most important stages in the food chain, and that is responsible for performing the duties involved in this stage assume major responsibilities in the prevention of food poisoning cases. And the personal hygiene is the best way to mitigate the risks associated with the contamination by most of the bacteria generally seen as being responsible for foodborne diseases. So here we can have the best example of Salmonella typhi that causes the typhoid by a lady who handled the food, and we had a story called as a typhoid Mary story, where she is responsible of transmitting this typhoid from one person to another, and many of them where she used to cook the food or prepare the food. Okay, so that story you can listen in the medical microbiology. So the best example is the personal hygiene of food handlers should be maintained very carefully. Then coming to the third one, kitchen sanitation. It is necessary to minimize the risk of contamination in the placement, arrangement, and decking of kitchen utensils. to set up the area so that it is equipped to perform maintenance, repair, cleaning, and disinfection, and to ensure that the surfaces and materials in the kitchen are anti-toxic, that the kitchen has control mechanism for temperature as well as the humidity. So these three steps are going to have a major role in affecting the food safety. Then moving to how to conduct the food safety. Then how do we know to conduct to maintain the food safety? So we should know that the food can transmit disease from person to person. So mainly it is going to happen in the developed countries. There are integrated standards for food preparation. In lesser developed countries, the main issue is simply the availability of the adequate safe water, which is usually a critical item in the preparation of the food. In coming to the theoretical aspects, the food poisoning is going to be 100% preventable. Practically, it may be impossible, but theoretically, if you maintain the all the hygienic conditions and if you follow the steps, then the food poisoning can be 100% preventable. Then the food safety considerations include the origin of food, including the practices relating to food labeling, food hygiene, food additives, and pesticide residues. First one, food labeling. A panel found on a package of food which contains a variety of information about the nutritional value of the food item. So these includes the production rate, or the consume or best before you have to consume, or the serving size, number of calories, grams of fats, etc. So you can see a list of things that were kept as a label on the concerned. So these information helps people who are trying to restrict the consumers about their intake, reactions, etc. Then moving to the second one, food hygiene. So we are going to have the 5 key principles of food hygiene. The first one is prevent contaminating food with pathogens spreading from people, pets, and the pests. The second one, separate raw and cooked foods to prevent the contaminating the cooked foods. The third one, cook for the appropriate temperature to kill the pathogens. The fourth one, store food and maintain the proper temperatures. That means the chilling temperatures have to be maintained. Then the fifth one, do use safe water and the raw materials. Then moving to the other rules that we have to follow to keep our food safe is going to be of mainly four. One is cleaning, so proper cleaning is necessary. Then proper cooking is also essential. And while preparing, we are supposed to avoid the cross contamination. And if you are going to have the preservation, then we have to go for the chilling. So if you follow these four simple rules, that will help us to stay safe our food from the foodborne illness in the kitchen. Then third one is food additives. So food additives are added to food to preserve the flavor or enhance its taste and appearance. So here are the list of several food additives that were used in the different kinds of the foods. So you can have a glance of all these things. What type of food additive is going to be used? For example, in the juices, we are going to have a sodium benzoate is going to be added, and in some other things we can use the sulfur dioxide, then sodium benzoate, aspartame, cyclamate. Okay, these are a kind of amino acid derivatives we can use in the juices to enrich the flavor as well as the taste. So then coming to the sunset yellow FCF, allura red AC, brilliant blue FCS is going to be used. And here you can see some sort of annata can be used, and in your cookies or chocolates we are going to use the tartazine, sunset LFCS, and caramosine and Fonsio 4F. And in the noodles you are going to have the annata monosodium glutamate. Okay, so this is how we are going to have the different kinds of food additives that are going to be used to preserve the flavor as well as the enhance its taste and appearance. Then moving to the fourth, which is a very crucial step, that is a pesticide residue. It refers to the pesticide that may remain in or on food after they apply to the food crops. So here you can see a lots of pesticide is being sprayed. So this is also impacting the food safety. So this may be going to be remain in or on food after they are going to be applied to the food crops. So then understanding the food safety, that is how, what should we understand about the food safety? We are going to have the physical determinants of the food safety, then social and behavioral determinants of food safety. So this concept we are going to discuss in detail in the food safety issues in detail. So just here I want to mention them. So the food hazards are going to include germs and the chemical contaminants which can enter the food supply at any point from farm to the table. That means where you take, that is going to be the table. Consumption. Most of these hazards cannot be detected in food when it is purchased or consumed. The physical determinants cannot be uh, found out during this process. In addition, a food itself can cause severe adverse reactions in people who are allergic to it. In the United States, food allergies are a significant concern both among children under age 18 and some adults. So these are all going to be of physical determinants of food safety. Then coming to the social and behavioral determinants of food safety. This is also an important aspect for people to understand how their behavior and activities contribute to the safety of the food. That means the personal hygiene, the surroundings hygiene, all these things comes under the social and behavior, and how they can decrease the risk of foodborne illness. From process on the farm to the practices in the kitchen, human activities play an important role in the food safety. We may face many challenges in keeping our food safe, but still we are supposed to maintain it. Then moving to the importance of food safety, why we have to keep our food safe, because of having these four aspects, that is quality, maintenance of quality, then maintenance of value, safety and nutrition. The first one, quality, providing sensory characteristics such as taste, aroma, palatability and appearance. Then value, providing the characteristic of consumer utility and economic advantage involving attributes such as convenience, packing and shelf life. Then moving to the safety, setting standards for toxicological and microbiological hazards and instituting procedures and practices to ensure that the standards are achieved or not. So that's how we are going to keep our food safe. Then the nutrition, maintaining the nutrient levels in food ingredients and formulating foods with nutritional profiles that contribute to consumer interest in healthful diets. So these are the four main importance of the food safety, that is quality, value, safety and nutrition. Then what are the benefits to the society? So when you're, if you are going to keep the food safe, so what are the benefits that the society is going to get? Number one, reduce the foodborne illness. So obviously if you keep your food safe, so we are going to reduce the risk of this foodborne illness. So properly handling and preparing food greatly reduces the risk of getting foodborne illness. Then we can reduce the food wastage too. Not only be a public health risk, but also will also affect the cost in the form of food waste due to the spoilage and mishandling. Then the third one is prevention. So we can prevent from getting these sometimes viruses, other germs and other particles get into the foods or the drinks. Then the fourth one, enhances consumer confidence. So reduces likelihood of a firm or a plant suffering a damaged reputation for the food safety. So these are the few benefits of the society that we are getting because of keeping our food safe. So this is all about the food safety introduction. In the next part, we will discuss about the food safety issues. Thank you.